Guys, what's our next class?
Oh, it's UI2, right? Today we will learn about deviant teaching.
Oh, I know what deviant teaching is. It's a set of ideas and beliefs of a group or political party that are divided from the Aqidah of Islam. Religious liberalism and religious pluralism are among the living ideologies in the eyes of the Islam. Oh, you guys know what? The word liberalism implicates the idea of freedom, which is being open-minded and flexible with religious belief. This ideology glorifies reasoning and modern thought as the main methods of understanding religion and despises revelation.
Oh, this reminds me of Al-Arqam.
Al-Arqam? I've never heard about it.
Well, Al-Arqam was initially formed by Ashari Muhammad in 1986 as a study group aimed to enrich their knowledge and understanding of Islam. During its early growth, Al-Arqam concentrated on organizing Usra, emphasizing the process of self-improvement, purification of hearts, and ethical Islamic personal training. There was no issue with Al-Arqam throughout its separation, up until 1979, when issues began to arise, claiming they were misguided.
Guys, look at the time. What are they?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum everyone. Today we're going to be learning about Al-Arqam. I'm sure some of you have already heard it before. It's one of the ideologies and teachings that was spread and formed by Ash'ari Muhammad. It was actually formed in 1968, way before any of you were actually born. But some of these beliefs still remain as of today, even if they're already banned by Jakir. The Al-Arqam group is actually spread from Kuala Lumpur, whom it's founded by. Today, we're going to be learning, and I'm going to assign all of you an assignment about Al-Arqam. So I hope all of you can know about the characteristics and its relation to religious liberalism. Right?
Guys, recently I found one article in Safari about characteristics of Al-Arqam. You guys wanna know it?
Yes.
Okay, let's go! Okay, so from what I found on the internet is the Obedient Wife Club. The Obedient Wife Club is an international Islamic faith-based organization which claims to promote harmonious families by teaching wives how to be submissive to their husband. The club was originally intended to help the female staff become a good wife and also a productive and lawful employees. Composed of 3,000 members, and this group currently operates in Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore, Australia, Kazakhstan, and Jordan. And in 2011, it declared plans to open chapters in England and France in 2013. However, the core beliefs of the club have become one of denigration and objectification towards Muslim women and wives. In October 2011, the Obedient Wife Club published a highly controversial book called Islamic Sex, and the vice president of the club, Dr. Rohaya Muhammad, advised women to behave like a first-class whore who in the company of their husband if they wanted their marriage to be a success. A man married to a woman who is good or better than a prostitute in bed has no reason to strain. Rather than allowing our husband to sin, a woman must do all she can to ensure his desires are met. And she told that to the newspaper. The club also believed that domestic violence, infidelity, and prostitution stem from a lack of belief in God and a failure of women to satisfy their husband. By downplaying the roles of wife as simply the providers of sex and pleasure, they have committed deviances against Islam, which hold that both husband and wife have responsibility to their family and each other, and that marriage must be founded upon trust, mutual respect, and also harmony. Based on Tariqat Muhammadiyah, Sheikh Al-Suhaimi was Imam Mahdi who disappeared and will return to lead Muslims. He may come to help when his name was called. Ash'ari had made specific claims about the Mahdi without clear signs and evidence from hadith that can lead to the misguidance. Well, we know that belief in the Mahdi is part of Islamic eschatology, but any claims must be supported by clear and authentic narrations from the Prophet Muhammad. There is also an addition
to the statement of Shahada with false facts that mention Sheikh Muhammad Al-Suhaimi as Imam Mahdi and equate him with the Khulafa ar-Rashidin. Ash'ari had misinterpreted it by altering the Shahada. There is no basis in the Quran or Hadith for adding anyone's name, including claiming someone as the Mahdi to the Shahada. Ash'ari is considered to be not only a saint with karamah and a religious individual, but also a mujahid of the end times. Ash'ari claims to be from the descendants of Bani Tamim, which is a group of the descendants of the Prophet Muhammad who holds the banner of Al-Mahdi. There is also in the Tariqat Muhammadiyah, it stated that Sheikh Al-Suhaimi had met with the Prophet Muhammad in the Kaabah in a conscious state and received Aurat Muhammadiyah from Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Sheikh Al-Suhaimi claimed was given the powers of God, which is Kun Fayakun. The concept of Kun Fayakun, which is be and it is a divine attribute exclusive to Allah. This phrase is mentioned in the Quran to describe Allah's supreme power and ability to create anything by giving a simple command. For instance, in Surah Yasin, verse 82 states, when he decrees a matter, he only says to it, be and it is.
I would like to add, speaking of this group, there was a book that was written by Ash'ari Muhammad's second wife, Khatijah after his death, called Tsunami Bukti Abuya Putera Bani Tamim. The book states that the tsunami disaster that happened in Aceh during 2004 was caused by the will of Ash'ari himself. Based on the article in Berita Harian, Khatijah says that her husband had the mu'jizat and was capable of lifting seawater and making it fly. Abuya sent the tsunami in order to stop the fighting that was happening in Aceh at that time, and the province of the world that was owned by Abuya Asari. She also states that there was a family that was spared from the death during the 2004 tsunami after shouting Abuya's name and asking for his help. I believe that this is their way of solidifying their beliefs that Abuya can send floods and tsunami with his will. But as we all realize, this claim conflicts with the primary principle in Islam, whereby all things that happen on earth was due to the provision and power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And only the prophets and rasuls that has been granted mu'jizat by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. According to the Quran, no misfortune ever befalls unless it is by Allah's leave. And whoever has faith in Allah directs his heart along the right path. Allah has knowledge of everything. From the surah translation above, this further supports that no calamity and disaster come from any source, except from the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Muslims should believe that calamities are actually a test of faith given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Thus, the claim that made by the Al-Arqam are considered deviant from the beliefs of Islam, as they believe that the disaster sent to Aceh was not due to Allah's permission, but instead caused by another person's power.
Oh, now I know why Al-Arqam is one of a deviant teaching in Malaysia.
Yes, based on characteristics that we just discussed just now, I think there's a pure solid why it is banned in Malaysia.
Okay, guys, thank you for sharing what you guys did just now.
Astaghfirullah, why is this assignment so hard? I don't know how to relate any of these characteristics to religious liberalism.
Oh, actually, I might have an idea how to relate it, especially the part about the Tariqat Muhammadiyah and Sheikh Al-Suhaimi.
Do you mind sharing?
So, about the Tariqat Muhammadiyah, as we all know, Sheikh Suhaimi stated that he received the Aurat when he was awake and met the spirit of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Actually, page 71 of the Arqam book contains a hadith narrated by Imam Al-Bukhari. I heard the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, peace be on him, saying, whoever sees me in a dream will see me in his wakefulness, and Satan cannot imitate me in shape. The followers of Al-Arqam actually claimed that the hadith proved Sheikh Suhaimi's, statement of meeting the spirit of Rasulullah in the Kaaba. They claimed that Rasulullah SAW taught Sheikh As-Suhaimi to read the Awrad Muhammadiyah and to say Abu Bakr as-Siddiq and the rest after the Shahada. This is actually related to Islamic liberalism because they perceive the human mind as a revelation. Their interpretations of the hadith in itself was influenced by their own wants and desires. In fact, many Islamic scholars have refuted this claim, including Sheikh Nasiruddin Al-Albani. He stated that this hadith narrated by Imam al-Bukhari was aimed at the Ummah who actually lived alongside Prophet Muhammad, peace be on him, who could recognize the face of Prophet Muhammad with 100% certainty, and that Rasulullah appearing in this dream is a form of hidayah sent by Allah to them to meet Rasulullah and seek guidance on Islam while still having the chance.
This reminds me of the Islamic scholar Shaykh al-Islam Ibn al-Taymiyyah, who presented his opinion on this hadith. He stated that seeing the Prophet or even the deceased in a dream or a state of yaqaza is the embodiment of jinns or even shaitans. It's said that shaitans are capable of taking form of anyone but the Prophet Muhammad. However, shaitans certainly are capable of making a person with a low state of iman believe that they are seeing Prophet Muhammad himself in their dream. This is said because thousands of years after the passing of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, there's no documented picture of what Prophet Muhammad looked like. However, there is only wording in the Al-Quran describing Rasulullah's appearance. Moreover, some Islamic scholars have the opinion that it should be looked into if one dreams about Rasulullah giving him an order or forbidding them from doing something. If it is something that is proven by the Al-Quran or the Sunnah, then adhering to the message is simultaneously adhering to the Sharia. Hence, the dream is counted as comfort for the dreamer and good news for him. However, if the dream urged him to do legitimate good, but is not something that can be proven by the Sharia ruling that has been legislated by Allah for us through Rasulullah, then it is counted as deception from the shaitan. Considering Islam as the final revelation and has been perfected by Allah, hence, if it's not stated in the Al-Quran nor the Sunnah, then it is simply a groundless claim. With this, we can say Sheikh As-Suhaimi and his followers conceived the hadith on their own aims and context, with no supporting proof. Oh, thank you, Nora, for sharing about Tariqat Muhammadiyah. Now I know how to elaborate on it. But now I'm stuck on OWC.
Actually, I just searched out this video about OWC on YouTube. Let's take a look at it.
Sure.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good day everyone. Today we will explore the relationship between OWC's views on marriage and liberalism and how these views conflict with Islamic teachings. The Obedient Wives Club, OWC, at its core, believe that women are inferior to men, as evidenced by their emphasis on wife duties to provide her husband and their tendency to blame all marital failings such as domestic violence, adultery, infidelity on the wife. One of the OWC controversial messages is the emphasis on sexual satisfaction, claiming that a wife should ensure her husband is sexually satisfied to prevent infidelity and maintain marital harmony. This view reduces a woman's role in marriage to that of merely fulfilling her husband's desire, ignoring her own needs and rights. It is evident that the OWC's interpretation on marriage places all limitations and weaknesses solely on the wife, neglecting the husband's responsibilities and contributions to the marital relationship. The OWC continues to promote the subjugation of women and reinforce patriarchal norms which are at odds with Islamic teachings about women's rights and equality within the marriage. It is clear that OWC associates with religious liberalism by interpreting the principles of Islam according to their own wants and desires. By doing so, they undermine the core values and mutual respect that are central to Islamic teachings on marriage. Marriage in Islam emphasizes mutual consent from both spouses and the importance of mutual respect and consideration. An excerpt from Surah Al-Baqarah 228 reads, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم ولهن مثل الذي عليهن بالمعروف وللرجال عليهن درجة والله عزيز حكيم. Meaning, women have rights similar to those men equitably, although men have a degree of responsibilities above them, and Allah is Almighty, all-wise. This ayah indicates that the wife has certain rights over her husband, just as he has certain rights over her, and each is obliged to give the other spouse their due rights. In marriage, each partner has specific duties to uphold to maintain the well-being of the family. Islam advocates for the equality and mutual responsibility of both partners in marriage and does not condescend to women or treat wives as lower in status than husbands. Instead, it promotes a partnership where both individuals support each other and recognizing their equal but distinct roles. This approach creates a stable and nurturing family environment.
You know, in addition to what Farah stated just now, the Obedient Wives Club also continues to misinterpret Islamic teachings because they state that the domestic abuse and infidelity of the husband is the fault of the wives. The reason that the OWC argues that if the wife was obedient, if they provided for the husband, there would be no discord in his family. This continuous rhetoric of victim blaming shifts the responsibility and betrayal of the husbands to their wives. The wives who are actually the victims are seen as the victim of the abuse are now shunned because they are in essence allowing abuse because they were negligent toward their husbands. A hadith narrated by Abdullah bin Zam'ah states that the Prophet ﷺ said, "None of you should flog his wife as he flogged a slave and then have sexual intercourse with her in the last part of the day." The Lebanese educator and journalist Abdul Qadir al-Maghribi argued that perpetrating acts of domestic violence goes against the Prophet's own example and injunction. In his 1920 essay Muhammad and Woman, al-Maghribi stated that he, the Prophet Muhammad, prohibited a man from beating his wife and noted that beating was not appropriate for the marital relationship between them. The Prophet underlined the moral and logical inconsistency in beating one's wife during the day and then praising her at night as a prelude to conjugal relations. It's evident that the Prophet himself really, really intensely detested the idea of beating one's wife. It's clear as day that the Obedient Wives Club doesn't align with Islam and its principle. They relate to religious liberalism because how they interpret Islamic principles, how they interpret the hadiths, how they interpret the Quran is so clearly based on their whims and their desires and has no basis in actual reality or intellectual discussions. As such, it's clear that the OWC itself is deviant and relates to religious liberalism.
Assalamualaikum, madam.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullah. Yes, please have a seat.
Madam, here's our assignment.
Alright. Oh, so your guys' topic is about Al-Arqam.
Yes.
So what you guys can conclude about this topic?
The widespread of deviant teaching is due to several factors, such as weak faith, which easily leads to searching for new teachings. These people tend to follow blindly without first investigating new teachings.
Lastly, madam, the authority must provide the public with suitable guidelines regarding the science of tasawwuf and authentic tariqat. In addition, we need to recognize the aspect of tasawwuf, tariqat, and Sufism that involve misappropriation and confusion.
Good job, kids. Where did you guys report all this?
There, madam.
Huh?
There!